If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, everybody, welcome. Here we go. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And, of course, hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Thursday, February 3, 2022. So welcome, everybody. I do want to remind you, of course, that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot, and today is Thursday, which means tonight is Trivia Night, hosted by the great Bill Cini, who, of course, also does trivia on the morning show on Wednesdays. But Thursday nights, he's at the Hop Knot. Make sure you register for that early. Those tables fill up very quickly. It's a very popular feature there at the Hop Knot. Thursday nights, they've got Bill Cini's trivia. Friday nights, of course, live music. They've got another gender blender event. A gender blender event. Sometimes my brain, it just smushes the words together. Coming up on the 5th, which is this weekend. So such a wonderful place, the Hop Knot. And those delicious gourmet pretzels are pretty good too. So to me, that's my favorite part. But yeah, please visit the Hop Knot on Elm. And like I said, if you're going to do the trivia, just make sure you either get there early or go online or call them and register a table before those fill up. Let's see. Also, coming up on today's show, a couple quick programming notes. Coming up in the second hour today, I will be joined in studio by the People's Mayor, Glenn R.J. Willett. So he wants to come in and hang out. So always a good time with Glenn. And then tonight, immediately following this program, it is the first Thursday of the month, which means I will be making my monthly appearance on the Dr. Kevin Show. So that is online. That streams on the Ohm Times Radio Network. That's Ohm, O-M, as in Ohm, ohmtimes.com/IOM. The first Thursday of the month, I call in to Dr. Kevin's program, and we discuss politics from 6 to 7 p.m., so you can stream that. And, of course, if you don't get a chance to listen to that live, you can go back and check it out later. ohmtimes.com/IOM. So if you want a little extra of me on this Thursday, that's how you can do that. Of course, here at WMNH, coming up immediately after the show at 6 p.m., is the weekly Die-On. And there's a special announcement being made on tonight's show. I don't know if it's okay for me to say what it is or not. So just if you're a fan of the weekly Die-On, you're definitely going to want to hear tonight's program. Let's see. Also, tomorrow on the show, of course, every Friday, we have Eric Pilcher's classic film review. A little bit of a switch this week. The film he was going to do, he's going to hold off on, and instead he's going to be reviewing In the Heat of the Night, which is very cool. And by the way, I know, Eric, I see you in the chat. In the Heat of the Night, easily in my top 5 of all-time favorite films. Jenny and I watched it a year or two ago. She had never seen it. I think she said she had only seen the television series, and the show was good too. I mean, you know, Carol O'Connor and Howard Rollins. But The show is good, but it can never live up to the film. The film is incredible. I remember Paulie C., I think just within the last year, he had seen it for the first time and loved it. I say it's the perfect film. There's nothing you could do to it to improve it. It's that good. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. But if you haven't seen it, or if you have, you will probably enjoy Eric's film review. I forgot to mute my phone. That's not like me. Sorry about that. There we go. But yeah, so In the Heat of the Night. So we look forward to that. And if you didn't see it too, I think it's already up on John Hopwood's YouTube channel. I don't have it up yet on the IPM Nation YouTube channel, but I will shortly. But Eric also made another appearance on this week's. The show is now called WWYP. No, WPYP, which stands for We Pick Your President. That's the new name of John Hopwood's show. And it sounds like he's probably already going to change the name. It's called We Pick Your President because we are here in the great state of New Hampshire. And we pick your president. We have the nation's, the first in the nation primary. John Hopwood has expressed on the program, he doesn't think that we necessarily are worthy of that responsibility. And that, you know, some people think that a more demographically diverse state should be the state to have the first in the nation primary. Some people think it should be like a rotating thing. It should change every 4 years, but that it should be, you know, other places, not New Hampshire, places that are more ethnically diverse and so forth. I say, much like Charlton Heston said about guns, I say about the first in the nation primary, you will have to pry it from our cold, dead hands. We are never giving it up, no matter what John Hopwood says. We will always be first in the nation. And every once in a while, somebody will try to play some games and move up their primary, but then we just move up ours. You'll never beat us. We will always be first. So I like the name of John's show, We Pick Your President, but apparently he's already going to be changing it again. He's had several names. In the end, he always goes back to Ward 13 with John Hopwood, but, you know, for a while it was Queen City Chronicles, and I think it had some other name at some point. I don't know. I can't keep track. Eric says in the chat, I do not think Sweetback's Badass Song will be reviewed at any point. Oh, all right. Well, very good. I've actually never seen that film, so, but I do love In the Heat of the Night. Oh, Nemi Jones in the chat says, I don't know now that Bill Gardner's gone. Yeah, Bill Gardner, who was our Secretary of State here what was his official title? I forget now. I'm blanking on that. But anyway, he here in New Hampshire, he protected our primary. He was in that job for like 120 years. A lot of Republicans, even though he was a Democrat, Republicans also supported him. He was well-liked by everyone, but I think he was in that job for about 120 years, and he's about 140 years old. I think he got the job when he was 20 and just stayed there. But anyway, yeah, that's true with Bill Gardner. No. We will, Secretary of State, yes. Thank you, Nemi. Yeah, Bill Gardner, I forgot, actually, that he was gone or on his way out. Oh, let's see. 603-250-6007 is a number if you'd like to call in today, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can opine and interact in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to call us at 603-250-6007. Nemi says in the chat, I'm having the same kind of day. Brain ain't feeling it. I'll tell you what, I'm very much affected by the weather. I always have been. So when it's gloomy and dreary and rainy outside, it's hard for me to quite get all the neurons firing. You know what I mean? Especially in the winter. But let's say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Eric Pilcher, I did mention, is in there. Jenny joins us and says, Shalom, peeps. Mike Pelopita joins us. Of course, Mike from another one of our great sponsors here at WMNH Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall. Chris Rose from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts joins us and says, good afternoon. Hello, Chris. Rocky Huber says, what's up, family? Hello, Rocky. Oh, Eric says, I'm going through the show now, and it is quite great. I assume you mean the television program In the Heat of the Night. Yeah, the show, like I said, I would not describe the show as great. I would describe the show as good. The film is great. The film is beyond great. The show never, I don't think the show, in my opinion, never achieved greatness. It just, but I mean, again, great cast. You can't go wrong with Carol O'Connor. But Rod Steiger is Chief Gillespie. You know what I mean? And, and Howard Rollins was fine as Tibbs, but no Sidney Poitier. You know what I mean? So I like the show. I like the show, but I love the film. Eric says, regarding the other film he was going to review, could not find the right angle, and sometimes it's best to just walk away. I understand. It is Black History Month, of course, the month of February, so that's, that's the kind of the theme for Eric's film reviews this month. Tom Blanchard says, hello, Tom. John Hopwood wrote an article about the theaters of Manchester. I was reading last night. It was very interesting. Yes. Well, John's a very good writer. Rocky says, I'm ready to clock out and go home and smoke some devil's lettuce. Devil's lettuce. My goodness. Is that like, I don't put lettuce in my salad. I find it just takes up room. Doesn't taste like anything. There's no real nutritional value to it, but devil's lettuce does sound interesting. I would imagine it has a little bit of a flavor to it. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, Rocky. All I know is I enjoy a delicious salad. Eric says, I think for a TV show at that point in time, the writing is just so well done and the acting, not a fair comparison to the film. Right, yes, it could never be as good as the film, of course. Nemi is asking, where is that article, John Hopwood's article? I know he writes columns for medium.com, so I assume that's where it was, or it might have been in Manchester Inklink if it was specific to Manchester. Maybe Tom can clarify for us, because I've not seen the article myself. But I would like to read that as well. 603-250-6007 is the number if you would like to join us. 603-250-6007. By the way, Jenny brought this to my attention. This is a gentleman from New Hampshire you might be familiar with, but of course, even if you're not from New Hampshire, you might be familiar with him because he was I think he was the first official campaign manager of the Trump campaign in 2016. Corey Lewandowski, New Hampshire's own, and according to Insider.com, Corey Lewandowski is back in Trump world with an assignment to oust New Hampshire's popular GOP governor, Chris Sununu. Oh, my goodness. Apparently, Mr. Trump feels that Sununu has been disloyal. And by the way, I see Chris Sununu, and he is running for another term as governor. We thought he was going to be, Nemi says, oh, I thought it was Jerry DeLamus, LOL. No. I like Jerry, though. He the night before he went to jail, he and his wife, Sue, bought Gary Hopper and I dinner downstairs at Margaritas. And, I am easily bought off with food. But no. It's my stomach's world. You all just live in it. But no, Corey Lewandowski apparently tasked with trying to find someone to displace Governor Sununu, to which I would say good luck. I mean, he's quite popular. And he's, by the way, the only Republican I voted for in the 2020 election. But I did. I was happy with the way he was handling COVID, and I was also happy to see him push back on. Actually, he just kind of tried to ignore the base of the Republican Party that was very angry with him and still is angry with him. In many instances, it would seem, for actually taking the pandemic seriously, because many in the party would have preferred that he just let it run rampant because they didn't think it was a big deal, or they thought it was all a hoax, or whatever, stupid things these people believe. So, Eric in the chat says, Matt's logic, food greater than convicted man. I kid, Matt. No, it is true though. It is true. I mean, geez, once you've bought me dinner, I mean, you could be an international crime lord, and you're in the mob or something, and it's like well, whatever. I enjoyed those tacos and margaritas, or maybe I had the burger. I don't remember. Margaritas does a great burger. Mexican restaurants in general, in my experience, do phenomenal burgers. I mean, it's not necessarily most people's first choice. You go to a Mexican restaurant, you're going to have some Mexican food, and a burger is not traditionally considered Mexican food per se. But Mexican restaurants do phenomenal burgers, including margaritas. I remember Mike Doyle's might be one of the few things on a short list of things Mike Doyle and I agree on. I think it was Mike Doyle who called into the morning show once and said, you know who does a great burger, and it's kind of the best kept secret around here, is Margaritas right downstairs. He called the morning show. He said, it's right downstairs from you guys, because it is. It's right underneath. Well, not right underneath us. It's on the first floor. We're on the third floor. But it's in this building, Margaritas, and they do a great burger. And the tacos and other things are good too. But yeah, I was pleased to see Governor Sununu kind of ignore those people. I mean, it got so bad that he was in danger. They ended up having his most recent inauguration had to be, it was going to be a public event, and I forget exactly what they ended up doing. I mean, I think they just made it a private ceremony because, people were threatening to kill him. At one point, they found somebody in Sununu's backyard at the governor's mansion with a gun. These people really, really were angry at Sununu for, between, you've got conservatives who don't believe in science, and you've got, the libertarian wing in the Republican Party here in New Hampshire, many of whom, it turns out, also don't believe in science. Boy, that was an eye-opener for me. I'll tell you, the libertarians and the free staters and, people who I thought believed in science, but it turns out that, as with, because ideology, this is what it does to people. It turns out they only believe in science right up to the point that they find it inconvenient. And then as soon as they find out science dictates they might have to put on a face mask when they walk into a Walmart, well, all of a sudden they're just very upset. They believe in the right of free association. The right of free association in this case being that, a private business should have a right to tell you that, well, if you want to come onto our private property and do business with us, that you have to wear a face mask. But apparently the right of free association does not apply when you find something inconvenient. And boy, it sure is just the horror of horrors, having to put on a face mask for 10 minutes while you do your, pick up your, whatever you're picking up at Walmart. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, but it also kind of reinforced something that I always suspected, is that not all, I mean, I've known many libertarians who I think are genuine in their beliefs, but I also have always kind of suspected that a lot of these people, and it turned out it is true, a lot of people, at least in New Hampshire, who call themselves libertarians are actually just conservative Republicans who want to be able to smoke pot without their peer group judging them for it. So they call themselves libertarians and position themselves like they're, some sort of rebels or something. I'm not a Republican. I'm a libertarian. I'm cool. And, and it turns out that they're actually just these anti-science, conspiracy theorist loving lunatics. Like a lot of conservative Republicans, it turns out, are. I didn't know pre-pandemic. And by the way, I don't want to, before anyone gets angry with me, let me acknowledge there are many Republicans who are not like that at all, like our governor, Chris Sununu, for example, because I can tell you, if he was anything like, like Greg Abbott in Texas, or God forbid, if he was anything like Ron DeSantis in Florida, there was no way I would have definitely voted for Dan Feltus. But But thank God these Northeastern Republicans, like Chris Sununu, these Northeastern Republican governors, like Chris Sununu, like Charlie Baker, like the guy from forget his name now, from Delaware. Anyway, I like him. I can't remember his name though. His name escapes me. It's the rainy weather. The neurons aren't firing. But anyway, there are some very good Republican governors who I think have done very well on COVID and have taken it seriously. But then you've got, even in the South, not just in the Northeast, by the way, in the South, like Kay Ivey. What is she? Is she the governor of Alabama, Kay Ivey? I remember seeing her on the news, and she's very pro-vaccine, and people in the media are asking her, Governor, why aren't people getting vaccinated? And she's just like, damned if I know. I don't know. Some people are just crazy. Everybody should be getting vaccinated. I do a terrible Southern accent. I should not be permitted to ever do a Southern accent. That should be illegal. And the FCC should fine me personally for ever attempting it. But I took a swing. But anyway, yeah. So even some Southern Republican governors have been very good. But then of course you've got you've got a lot of people in the Republican Party who are just again, they believe in conspiracy theories. Or you've got the Sununu ended up on CNN one night, was asked about this one guy in New Hampshire, this Republican state legislator. I can't even remember his name, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't want to say it. Who claimed that if you look at a vial of vaccine, you can see an organism which is self-aware actually in the vaccine that is about to be injected into you. That's not from The Onion, or any kind of satirical site. This guy actually said that, and he was not kidding. So you've got, when people ask me, Matt, why do you appreciate Sununu so much? This is why. Don't get me wrong. I have plenty of criticisms of Governor Sununu, but I'm kind of a square peg politically. I'm going to have plenty of criticisms of anybody who's governor or president or senator or congressman or whatever, right? But at least the guy's not some lunatic conspiracy theorist, because a lot of Republicans are. I'm sorry, but not all. There are many who are not. I mean, Mike Doyle, he calls the show. He's we disagree on a lot of things, and he's a Republican, but he's, he takes COVID very seriously. So, or Eric Pilcher in the chat room, he's a conservative from Iowa, but he takes COVID seriously and he's vaccinated. And, so I just, before anyone gets too upset with me, there are a lot of very good Republicans who are smart and who believe in science and believe in medicine and who take COVID seriously. Unfortunately, there's just also a hell of a lot of them who are nuts and are probably irredeemable. And it turns out a lot of libertarians also fall. Like, I always suspected a lot of these people who call themselves libertarians were really just conservative Republicans who wanted to look cool and go to some cool parties and whatnot. But I just didn't realize two things made me really see just how phony a lot of these people are. One was the pandemic, and the other one, even before the pandemic, was their love and adulation for Trump. I mean, this guy who's fairly authoritarian rather in both practice and in how he just presents himself. And a lot of these libertarians, they fell in love with Trump. And it's like, why? What is libertarian about Trump? Because he wants to cut some regulations? That's all it took. That's all it took. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, it's Mike Doyle.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I heard you throwing my name around there. I wanted to call you. Hey,
well,
let me ask you a question.
I was saying nice things.
Yeah. No, it's all fine, man. We're friends.
I know. We
can have a difference of opinion.
No, I know.
And still be friends, man.
Of course.
There's not enough of that in the world.
I'm just pointing out.
That's probably the biggest problem in the world is people not sitting down together in a room and saying, what are we doing wrong? Why is, you know what I mean? Just
yeah.
What are we doing wrong? Which I guess in basic is what we represent. We we vote our representatives to do, but
right.
They don't seem to be doing it well this year because the gas prices are up and inflation's here and the border and on and on. And so that's the problem. But my question to you was, what is your definition of a lot? Because I continue to hear you say a lot of Republicans are anti-vax and anti-science. And I
Yeah.
could tell you that I don't know it all depends, I guess, on your definition of a lot. But I hang
Well,
around with both Republicans and Democrats, but definitely more Republicans.
sure.
And I can't think of one that I know that well, actually, I take that back. I just heard of one the other day. But I can think of one out of the hundreds of people I know
Sure.
that are anti-vax, don't believe this is a virus. So when you say a lot, I'm wondering what you mean. 10%, 20%?
Oh, I couldn't put a percentage on it, Mike. I think though, and by the way, I would assume, because I know you believe in science and you take this all seriously. So I would assume that you would associate with other Republicans who also feel that way. You're not hanging
Sure.
out. You're not hanging out with crazy people. I wouldn't expect that you would. But I see. But I also know you're not on social media at all, correct?
Correct.
See, a lot of my perceptions come from what I see on social media, and what I see on social media is, and trust me, on Facebook, and a lot of them are Facebook friends of mine, so I see their posts consistently, and there are a lot of Republicans on Facebook that I see, and a lot of libertarians on Facebook that I see, who are very anti-vaccine. And a lot of them are conspiracy theorists. I mean, now that there's no way for me to know how large a swath of the Republican Party that represents, although there is polling data that shows Republicans are far more reluctant to get vaccinated than Democrats and independents. But if you're asking me what's a lot, I don't know. But it's too many. You know what I mean?
Maybe you should. Well, maybe you should use the word many,
May-
or some different. But
well,
a
Matt,
lot. A lot just sounds like more than a majority. And if I had to guess, we're talking 5% or something. If I had to put a
oh
percent.
no, I would.
But again, I don't do the social media thing, so
Right.
I don't know what you're seeing there.
Yeah, I
But
mean, if I had to guess based on what I see on social media, I would guess half. But
really,
I would guess half. Well,
no way. I can't. I don't see it. I don't. I'm around.
but you
I
don't.
know a lot of people.
But you
I've been
right.
Mitch
But
the guy my whole life. I know a lot of people.
right.
And I don't know. Like I said, I just the other day somebody said, "Did you hear that she hasn't been vaccinated yet?" I said, "You're kidding me." She goes, "No, no,
Yeah.
totally." And I go, "Oh, that's the first one I've heard in a while."
Right. But
And so
you're hanging out with smart people.
well,
Like I said, I mean,
don't know. You're going to get yourself in trouble by leading yourself down the road that a lot of people that you know are not smart because they're anti-vaxxers.
well, no, not people I associate with personally, but people I know on social media. Oh yeah. There's a lot of. I cannot open Facebook without seeing somebody's anti-vax nonsense or somebody's conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
There's a lot
I don't
of
know,
it.
so I don't do that.
Yeah,
But is
yeah.
it 1 off, 2 off, 3 off, or is it like you said? Is it half the people you see on there are anti-vax, anti-this?
Not half total, just to be clear, but
Yeah.
but if I had to get, I mean, I'm just guessing. I haven't. It's not like I'm not even good at math, so I could be way off. But
Right. So
I see
there's
a lot.
definitely-
I
and
see a
there's
lot of
definitely-
it.
You gotta qualify the difference between anti-vax and anti-science, which is pretty much two different things, right? Because if you're anti-science right now, with the amount of people that died and then the other people that got sick, I mean, everybody knows somebody. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
had COVID. And if you don't think that's part of science, then you're an idiot. I mean, let's
Right.
be honest. But
Well,
anti-vaxxing, that's a whole different. You jump to a whole different thing. You got to split that up because they may be anti-science, but I guess they're more putting something in me based on my free will. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Type thing.
No, I know what you
What
mean.
percentage goes down the, my will? I don't want that in my body.
And I will acknowledge I do speak loosely, about that in that way, but
Yeah,
I get so damn frustrated about it, as you know.
but oh, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But let me tell you one last thing. Let me tell you where some of the blame I think comes from the federal government of the mixed messages that are going on. Did you read that article I sent you a couple nights ago about the Johns Hopkins survey?
I did, yeah.
They did a
I might get to that today, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, read it. It's pretty interesting. They did a survey saying that according to that, and Johns Hopkins, fairly reputable, right? Uh, Medical source said that after their long study, they believe that shutting down the economy, shutting down businesses, shutting down schools may have resulted in less than 1% of helping with infections and things like that.
I think it
They
said
say it.
two
I'm
point
sorry.
nine 2.9%, if I remember correctly. But I take your
I don't think it was that much.
but I
I
take
thought
your
I
point.
saw less than one. But anyways,
Yeah.
minuscule, I guess, is the theory
Yeah.
based on what harm is happening to the people who lost their businesses, people who lost their jobs, kids who didn't get educated for a year or educated by Skype or whatever it was. The harm that did, I guess they're trying to weigh those two out. And according to
Sure.
them, it was much more harmful to shut everything down and shut schools down versus take it on head on with masks and injections and so on and so forth. So it's just pretty interesting. But what messages are we getting out of the government? They're all over the place. And I'm not. This isn't a Republican Democrat thing. This is just you know what I mean. Right now, if I had to ask you, I should you go for your fourth shot? Should you be wearing a mask certain times? Do you know?
I know. Well, I believe right now the current guidance is you should, if you're indoors. Oh, you know what? It does get tricky because if you're indoors, does it matter if you're vaccinated and other
Right,
people? Yeah,
right. See what I'm
no, it
saying?
does.
There's just so many mixed
Well,
messages.
I've I,
It was
I've
never just
I've said that myself. I think there have been times when the messaging has been very straightforward. And I think there have been other times when it's gotten confusing. One of my criticisms, Mike, you might remember this, is when the boosters rolled out, when the federal government said, okay, let's get people boosted, let's go ahead with that third shot. I said at the time I thought the government was making a mistake with having a tier system similar to the one that they had. When the vaccines first rolled out originally, that first dose, it made sense because we had so much more demand than supply. It made sense to have a tier system because, of course, you want to make sure the people who are most vulnerable get vaccinated first. But I said, but now that we're at a point, when the boosters rolled out, okay, now we're at a point where we have much more supply than demand. So let's not have these tiers. Just say, hey, anybody who wants to get a booster shot is now eligible. Make it simple. But the government didn't do that. They made it. I mean, not as complicated as initially. The rules were a lot looser, but still, they overcomplicated the message. And then, within a couple of weeks, it was like, okay, I guess we'll just make it so everyone can go get it. But yeah, there have been, and right now it is very Omicron really complicated things. And no, you're right, Mike. I mean, I'm very confused. And the rules on quarantining and what do you do if you have an exposure and what if you have an exposure and you're quote unquote fully vaccinated with 2 shots, but you haven't been boosted versus what if you have been boosted? And yeah,
right.
that is
Right.
that has gotten very, very confusing. And you're right.
It's almost like you need a chart.
Yeah.
But what threw everybody for a loop was this Omicron, which was a side effect, a side swipe of the original COVID, I guess, was much lighter. It was more nasally, and it didn't get into your lungs
Yeah.
like the original COVID, which then, like you said, remember you had your spell, and at that time
Mm-hmm.
you thought it was just asthma or something, but now looking back,
Yeah.
you think no, maybe I was having a COVID attack of some sort.
I
But
think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I wish we'd all get on the same page, right? Nobody wants anybody to die or really get sick or
Right.
all that stuff, and just get some basic guidelines. I don't know what's going on with the mask. Remember they said they're going to have masks for everybody, tests for everybody, and
Yeah.
now that's
I
being held up too. And
No, I think that rolled out because people have been ordering them.
yeah,
I know
I don't know.
Jenny
I didn't
ordered
see
some
that.
from the state website, and I believe the federal website is up and working. But I think
Yeah,
that,
we got some. We got some from the state, but
yeah,
I didn't see the thing about the federal.
no, I think the
Yeah.
federal website is up. I think it's been up for a couple of weeks, but I don't know. You might not be hearing much about it because I don't know how many. I think again, like as you pointed out, it's very confusing right now. People probably don't know
Yeah.
whether they should bother to order masks. And is it really that hard to get masks from other places if you
It
really
just
want one? And I
one
don't know.
one last thing. It just bothers me, like when you watch these press conferences, and it's almost like a game. You know what I mean? We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of inflation. A possible war, and it just these both Republican and Democrats. It's like a little game to them when they have these press conferences and they try to one up each other and instead of getting together and saying, hey, we gotta straighten this out. We're in a S storm here, and we got to turn this thing around for everybody. Nobody wants to be paying an extra dollar and a half for gas or paying an extra $20 a week for groceries. But you see the Republicans. I'm saying both sides.
Hmm.
You see Republicans do it, and I think Jen Psaki does a disservice to the press corps as far as she's very smirky. She's very. I mean, they hired the right person. She can battle with anybody who comes at her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But does that help anything? You know what I mean? That's my point. Um, so I don't know. People first. You know what I mean? Let's
Hmm.
take care of the people first. That's their job.
Yeah.
That's what we voted them for, and then worry about skirmishes later. So
uh,
that's just the way it is.
your mouth to God's ears.
Let's
Yeah.
give Matt Connarton and Mike Doyle the power to make some rules. You and I will go. We'll sit down and we'll get some stuff straightened out. You know what I mean?
I like
Because
that idea.
it's pretty simple stuff. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, good show as usual. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Mike. Thank you for the call. Take care.
All right, see you.
All right. Bye bye. All right. That was Mike Doyle. And yes, he heard me mention his name. But I was saying good things. Yes. No, and just to circle back to something he was saying. Oh, circle back. Jen Psaki always says that. I wonder if subliminally I did that on purpose. Anyway. No, I think, like I said, I mean, Mike's not on social media, so he, in a way, he probably, it's probably good for his mental health not to be on social media, actually, but, he doesn't see a lot of he's kind of insulated in a way from a lot of the really crazy stuff. The really crazy stuff, I think, is what you see on social media. And there are, I mean, I couldn't put a number or a percentage on it, but I see so much, just, I don't see it's all a hoax kind of stuff as much anymore. Although I still see that early in the pandemic, there was a lot of that, but yeah, there's still a lot of anti-vaxxers on social media. That's for sure. So, 603-250-6007 is the number if you'd like to chime in. 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. By the way, if you're local here in the area, WMUR is reporting. I guess they're already closing schools for tomorrow. Is that right? This storm that's coming, I guess it's going to be icy. Now I can't. Sometimes I get these news alerts on my phone from WMUR, and then I click them, and it's like their website is. It's not that it's not mobile friendly. It could be better. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't know if that's true or not. I tried to look at the article to get clarification, and it went to something else. So I don't take my word for it that schools are already closed for tomorrow. Oh, Jenny says yes, over 165 schools listed. Wow. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this? Is it the Phantom? Is this Mr. Krabs? Actually,
Hello?
hello?
Hi.
Paulie C?
Yes.
I thought you, for a second there, I thought you pocket dialed me or something.
No, I didn't pocket dial you. I could just barely hear you. That's all.
Oh,
I didn't hear that you picked up the phone. It's like a really, really quiet signal or something.
oh, I see.
That's okay. I'll wait. Go ahead with your show.
Well, I'd like to know what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. So
I
listen,
know.
you're gonna do your show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I?
Okay, you're not gonna let something like weather get in the way of your show, right?
Well, no, it'll be done by morning anyway.
Oh, really? I thought it was supposed to be crappy all day tomorrow. There's a storm watch until 7 p.m. tomorrow night, I think.
Oh, I thought it was to 7 a.m. It's to 7 p.m.
I don't know. Who knows? It's 7 o'clock. There was a number 7 in there.
Oh, yeah, I think we're only getting like 6 or 8 inches. I'm not.
Okay, well, the reason why I say that, regardless, 6 or 8, 2 or 3 inches, is that, after your show tomorrow night, it's my show.
Yes.
And, I can count on you to be there, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. I don't hold up too much hope for our 2 lovers / co-hosts.
That's true. If it's poor weather. Oh yeah, Jenny says 7 p.m. tonight to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah. So it might be kind of. But I assume by afternoon it'll be fine. Though it'll be clean up at that point, I would think. But yeah, you're right about the other two. Wintry night might be. They might be enjoying a night by the fire.
Well, it's a perfect excuse for them to get together. Hey,
That's
it's
right.
snowing. I'm not going to make it.
Yep. That's true.
and then they hook up and go on their rendezvous or whatever they do when they're out together at the same time.
Pull out the bearskin rug and relax. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And watch that movie there that Dan loves so much.
Which one is that?
The one that he watched with Mark at Tweeter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember you guys talking about that. Yeah. Oh,
Tobey Maguire. What movie was that?
No, it was Cider House Rules.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
So when Dan and DJ Steve are sitting around tomorrow night watching Cider House Rules behind our back, I'm just hoping that you're there with me, Matt.
I'll be here with you. It'll be you, me, and the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead.
That's right. You've never missed a day of Retro Spectrum Radio in the years that we've done it. So.
That I have perfect attendance.
You certainly do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, tomorrow night, you and I, and hopefully Dan and the good DJ Steve will be doing 80s cover bands. So sorry, not 80s covers bands. That was like 8 months ago. 80s solo artists.
Yes. Yeah. Looking forward to that. That'll be a lot of fun.
All right, Matt, go on and do your thing there. I just wanted to call and say hello. I was going to stop by, but I don't have the time. So enjoy, and I'm listening.
All right, Paul. Thank you for the call. I'll see you tomorrow night.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, that was Paulie C from Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. Every Friday night from 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. right here on WMNH 95.3. And, of course, I'm one of Paul's co-hosts on that show, along with our friends Dan Randlett and DJ Steve, who hopefully will be here tomorrow, but we shall see what transpires. And we have a call. We'll grab this. Hi. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Charles.
Charles
Listen,
Richardson.
Did I just hear correctly? Me and my son are in the car. We're listening to the show. You said there's a storm watch happening from 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow?
Yes, up here in the tundra of New Hampshire. Yes.
There's not a cloud in the sky down here. It's 82 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. You're going ahead and proclaiming false news, fake news.
Oh, boy.
It's beautiful down here. 82 degrees.
Killing me.
Nice. I'm in shorts.
You're killing me. Oh boy, yeah, but don't you have down there in Florida? Don't you have like giant bugs or serpents or something? I don't know.
No. You know, Jenny actually on the show last night was saying, I don't want to live in Florida, but up here, all I get is the occasional blizzard. You guys get earthquakes. She mentioned earthquakes in Florida. Like, really? But she did make the hurricanes and the tornadoes and the gator attacks or whatever else. What other stuff she complains about? Oh, flying roaches. I've never seen a flying roach.
What about?
I mean, there's palmetto bugs that are bigger than roaches, but
Well, that's what I was gonna.
Ray kills them.
That's what I was gonna say. The palmetto bugs, aren't those like terrifying? I've never seen one, but they sound like they would be very upsetting if I encountered such a thing.
Well, they're upsetting to me every time I encounter one, but they don't last very long. 5 seconds, and they're at the bottom of my shoe, nice and quiet after that.
Wow.
So it's, but it's like, okay, listen, you deal with the heat and the humidity. Any place you live, it's going to have a downfall. The downfall up there is bitter cold when it's during the winter. You get this occasional blizzard that you have, and don't tell me you guys don't get hurricanes. Hello,
No,
Jersey. You guys just had one. This last hurricane season, one came up there and brushed up against New England.
Yeah, but
So
by the time they get to New Hampshire, they're usually downgraded to a tropical storm at most.
And honestly, yeah, there's hurricanes that brush by every year, but you know what? Hardly any of them hit Florida. Now, New Orleans, if you want to go to if you want a hurricane, go to New Orleans. That's got the best ratio of getting a catastrophe by a major hurricane because they usually get one hit almost every year.
Well, yeah,
so it's like that's the worst one. Florida, we'll get hit by one or two, but it's never really big, except for it's like one of those earthquakes that happens on the San Andreas Fault. Once in every 100 years, it's a big one.
Well, the winters here aren't that bad. Actually, they've gotten easier over the years.
Yeah. Well, winters here are pretty good too. I mean, low mid 70s is usually the average. Today's a scorcher, 82.
Yeah. That summer humidity though. Oh, it sounds oppressive.
Well, that's why you get a house with a pool.
Oh well.
you gotta go ahead and live within your means according to the climate that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole sales tax thing that she's mentioning about, okay, we pay sales tax. Big deal. They don't pay any other taxes down here. At least not that I know of.
You don't have a
maybe
state income tax?
No, I don't think so.
No. You don't think so?
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm in trouble with the IRS. I don't know it yet.
I was gonna say, I think you'd know if you do or you don't. You'd notice it in your paycheck. That's for sure.
Listen, I get paid from my company, and money's missing. You know what? If you get paid $10, which I don't, let's do $20 an hour for 80 hours. You get $1,600. My check's never $1,600. There's $1,600. Then you have the minus this, minus that, minus la 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 la, and I barely get maybe say $1,000 to $1,100. $500 of my stuff is gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what tax it's going to. All I know is it ain't in my pocket. So whatever tax it goes to, that's what I have to pay apparently. Oh, and insurance. I guess that part of that's for insurance too.
Yeah, of course. Well,
yeah. But I thought I'd call in and just say Matt Connarton is reporting false news for people in Florida. There is no storm watch.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, sunny and 85 does sound nice.
I had to bust your chops today, buddy, because I got busted yesterday too for not being acknowledged.
Oh, in the chat room.
Which apparently I was corrected on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why it's once you're in there, you got to pay attention. Yes.
I know. Listen, I had other things going on, and I couldn't listen to your dulcet tones over the phone all the time. So, I by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. No, man. That's another conversation. I'll let you get on because you're getting close to the top.
I'm curious.
So I'll talk to you later.
I'm curious now.
What?
I'm curious now what it was. What was it?
I got to know what the definition of dulcet is, because I tried looking it up and it was like a vitamin or something. Maybe I spelled it wrong.
Yes, it's Dulcet Tones is a brand of vitamin. It's very very popular in New England.
So when you say you want to listen to our dulcet tones, you're saying you want to listen to our vitamins?
Yes, I want to listen to your vitamins. No, I'm actually looking it up because I want to make sure make sure I have the right definition. It's sweet.
Matt, I love you, man. I really do.
Sweet and soothing is the official Webster's definition of dulcet.
Sweet and soothing. So you mean to tell me I've been hearing you the whole time. You go ahead and so we can hear your dulcet tones. Call 6, and you don't even know the definition of it, or didn't now until now.
Well, I wanted to make sure I got it right. I knew it was something like that, but the only reason I say it really is because I think it sounds nice. Actually, I think it sounds dulcet.
I told Jenny, listen, your radio show is way too intelligent for my ears. I feel like I am like one of these morons that never graduated from the 7th grade. I feel like Billy Madison.
Oh my!
When I listen to your show, like, what the heck is he talking about? What does this mean?
Uh-huh.
I'm over here looking at the dictionary at the same time I'm listening to your show.
Well, that's a good thing then. It's educational.
I guess it is. I am being educated by Matt Connarton.
That's right. There you go.
That's right.
You learn all kinds of
all right,
stuff.
Buddy.
All right, Charles. Thank you.
Take care. All right.
All right. Thank you for the call, my friend.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was Charles Richardson, of course, from the great state of Florida, where apparently it is 85 and sunny, or 82 and sunny, or something like that. It was all bragging. That does sound nice, but there's a lot of things about Florida I don't think I'd care for, like their governor, for example. But I don't think Charles likes him either. But we have another call here. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Easy G.
Easy G, Eric Gagnon. How are you, my
I
friend?
got a serious question this time.
Yes.
You know, I heard that we killed one of the leaders of ISIS. Haven't we killed the leader of ISIS like a couple times?
It's funny. Jenny and I were talking about that earlier. Yeah, whenever someone will take his place, of course, and yeah, that's
right.
That
I mean, how many
always
times do we
happens.
kill the? Yeah, you're right. When we kill one guy, another guy just takes his place, doesn't it?
Yes, that's what happens. It's very similar to the drug war. You know, you round up these drug dealers and put them in prison, and then others emerge and take their place.
It seems to me you can't kill all the bad guys. There's always more.
That is true. Yes, that is true. I mean,
they always like to make a big deal out of it. Oh, we killed the leader of ISIS.
Yeah,
we probably got a new one already down the pipe.
Right. that is how it works, unfortunately. I think that part of the theory, and I'm not saying I think that it's correct necessarily, but I think part of the theory is that if you kill the leader of whether it's ISIS or, we hear about, we killed the leadership of Al-Qaeda and again this month or whatever. There's an idea that if you do that, if you keep killing these people, these high profile targets, that it becomes so disheartening to these organizations that they'll start to back off because, they feel, like they're just getting killed and they're not accomplishing anything. And it's very disheartening to them. But all right,
I'll let you go. You got to take a break at the top of the hour. So,
yes.
Have a great rest of your show.
All right, Eric. Thank you for the call. All right. That's our friend Easy G, Eric Gagnon. Oh, he's back on the line. He had one more thing he wants to say, I think.
Want to get down and dirty with me?
No. All right. Well, very good. We are almost at the top of the hour, so we will be going to a break in a moment. I do want to catch up with these Facebook comments, though, because a lot of great comments in here. Paulie C. is in the chat room, by the way, as well as we talked to him a few minutes ago. Let's see. Oh, Nemi, I think, was enjoying my comments about libertarians. Rocky Huber says, is Mike the guy that always argues with Jenny? No, that's you're thinking of Dave Ridley, Rocky. I'll only say his name once because if I repeat it a couple of times, he'll call. Jenny says, we do, but we have good conversations as well. There are things Mike and I agree on. Yeah, I think Rocky was probably referring to Dave, not Mike, although he may have meant Mike. I don't know. Jenny says this is regarding not doing the lockdowns. That would have resulted in an immense climb in the number of deaths. Yeah, there's a John Hopkins study that seems to suggest the opposite, but we may get to that today, or if not another day. But I generally, as you know, I generally agree with all of the mitigation steps that have been taken and continue to be taken regarding COVID. I'm a COVID hawk, as I like to say. Angela Philbrook says, I ordered the tests from the state and now the government, I received both. Oh, and now and also the federal government. Yeah, I believe that Mike wasn't aware of it, but I believe the federal government's website for tests has been up for several weeks, and it works really well. But like I said, I think, well, here in New Hampshire, of course, you can, Jenny got them from the state government, and very quickly, they arrived quickly. But it is all very confusing to what Mike's point was, and I do agree with him. The messaging has gotten muddled. Tom Blanchard says it's a learning curve. Just put your mask on to be safe. What's so hard about that? Yeah, I mean, I wear mine if I'm walking into a store. Actually, if I'm walking into anywhere where I think there's even a chance that the employees are going to be masked, I wear mine. Even if I'm the only customer in the place wearing one. If I see employees with a mask, I'm going to wear a mask, because part of it is just kind of almost like solidarity is not the right word exactly, but it's like, you know what? These people working in this store all day, they have to wear a mask. They don't have a choice in the matter, you know? If they can do it, I can do it for the few minutes that I'm in there. You know, it's no great burden or sacrifice. So if I see others wearing a mask, I put one on too. Let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling. Some of these are from before. Oh, Crystal is in the chat and says, I got the tests from the government, but here in Illinois, the state is only giving 25,000 tests out and only to 14 counties. I, of course, do not live in the approved county. There are 120 counties in Illinois. There's 120 counties in Illinois. Wow. Why only 14 counties can get the free tests and not the others is like WTF. Yeah, that is strange. I don't think Nemi was enjoying hearing Charles brag about the weather in Florida from the looks of it in the chat room. Let's see. Crystal says they are not even giving out enough free tests in Illinois to cover Chicago. Chicago/Cook County is in the list of approved counties, though. Wow. Yeah. Jenny's in the chat sticking up for New Hampshire. Scott Robinson says hurricanes, 95% humidity, all set. Crocodiles, pythons. Yeah. I don't want any of that. They can keep that in Florida. Jenny points out it gets cold enough, long enough to kill off a lot of bugs. Yeah. I mean, the winters here aren't terrible. They certainly seem easier than when I was a kid. I mean, this winter, for example, we've had some very cold days, but we've also had some very warm days. Like today was really nice. And we really haven't had much snow. We've only had one really sizable snowstorm. I think this year we've had more ice than snow. I mean, the ice is terrible too, in fact, and sometimes the ice is actually worse. But Miriam Banish joins us in the chat. Good afternoon. I had a physical therapy appointment for my ankle today. Progress is happening. That is very good to hear, Miriam. Nemi in the chat says Ridley sucks. Rocky says, I was trying to remember who couldn't stop calling Jenny her name without the Y, which she hates. Right. Yeah, that was definitely Dave Ridley. That was Dave Ridley. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Let's take a break. We'll play a little something. We'll show some love to our amazing sponsors, and then we will be back with hour number 2, Numero Dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed. I think I'm going to play this again, this James Brown song. Yeah, this is it. Played this the other day. It's a really good song for Black History Month. So we'll give this a listen. And I love James Brown. How can you not? We'll give this a listen. And we'll play our commercial spots, and then we'll be back with hour number 2. Glenn R.J. Willett, the People's Mayor, will be joining us in studio. Always a nice time with Glenn. And I'll talk at you in a few minutes. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Here we go. We are well in hour number 2, numero dos, of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And, of course, hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. It is a Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, and I'm not alone. There he is at the news desk, the People's Mayor, Glenn R.J. Willett.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Glenn.
I just got off the air.
Oh, yes, you just got done doing your television program.
Yes.
Yes. I do want to remind you all, of course, that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan right across the street. And today is Thursday, which means tonight is trivia night, hosted by the great Bill Cini. So make sure you register in advance for that because those tables fill up very quickly. It is a very popular feature there. You ever go over to the Hop Knot, Glenn?
I have. I'm not a drinker, but I have a couple of times. I was there for the Miracle on Elm Street.
That was at Bonfire.
Oh, you had something.
Yes, we did a live remote from the Hop Knot.
Yeah, you were giving out T-shirts. Yeah.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
that was last fall, was it not? Or the fall before last? Or?
I don't even.
It's been a while.
It time goes so fast.
It certainly does.
I lose track of it.
I can't believe that today is what? The 3rd of February already?
It is, yes.
And it's the shortest month of the year.
Oh, that's true.
It's just going to fly by, which is okay. Let's get all the snow in February, right?
And it's not a leap year, right?
No, it's not.
No. Yeah. Let's get I like that idea. Get the snow out of the way. Yeah. Absolutely. If you'd like to join us today, 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476, tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we may hear and enjoy your dulcet tones, which means soothing and something else, give us a call at 603-250-6007. Charles had to put me on the spot by asking me for the actual definition of dulcet. But
really?
Yes. But also, too, I want to remind you that tonight, immediately following this program at 6 p.m., I will be making my monthly appearance on the Dr. Kevin Show. The first Thursday of every month, I do call into that from 6 to 7 p.m., and that streams online on the Ohm Times Radio Network, ohmtimes.com/IOM is the direct link for that. And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
This is Paul Bear. I heard you do an impression of me.
You didn't like my impression of you, Paul the Bearer?
I'm here to warn you.
Uh-oh, watch out, man.
Len is your brother.
Who is my brother?
He's going to manage your brother, I think he said.
He's going to manage my brother?
Something like that.
That's very... The other day, I was doing my Paul Bearer impression. Apparently, that was actually Paul Bearer calling from beyond the grave, which is appropriate. His name is Paul Bearer, after all. Are you familiar with Paul Bearer?
No, does he call a lot?
Paul Bearer, he was the manager of The
That's what he
Oh,
was saying. I'm the
yes.
manager. Yeah, okay.
But
So he calls a lot. He's a pretty active dead person.
yeah, that's the first time I've heard from him. I guess he didn't like my impression of him.
Oh, that's what happens. The ghosts come out when you knock them down.
Apparently, can you pull that mic up a little closer, Glenn? That
little
mic is.
Hello, comment ça va?
Oh, that's better. What does that mean, comment ça va?
Hello, how you doing?
Oh, okay, very good. I don't speak French.
I know you want to go wee wee. It's
Yeah,
not
I
even
know.
wee-wee.
That's all the French I know, like wee wee and poo poo and French fries, and that's about the extent of it. Now, I hope that's not racist of me to make those jokes.
No, French fries is in English, by the way.
Oh, okay. Now, Glenn, you have this will be a world radio premiere, I suppose. You have a tribute to Meatloaf that
Yes.
you've recorded.
I love Meatloaf. You know, he was a great guy. He was not only good at singing, writing music, taking part in plays. He was an actor. He did everything.
Yes.
And I saw his last interview 3-4 days before he died from his hospital bed.
Uh-huh.
And what he was saying was he really was hoping to get out of the hospital after the operation.
Yeah.
He's going to get an operation for his back. And that he had planned Arizona, other places, Cincinnati, during the fall, you go to London and get back to his life.
Yes.
So you never know, do you?
He probably should have gotten vaccinated,
Yeah,
and then he wouldn't be dead.
that would have helped. Especially,
I loved him as well, but I was disappointed at his attitudes toward COVID.
yeah,
at the
especially with his condition. Yes.
Yeah, he's a big guy. But so you recorded this. Let's give this a listen. Speaking of dulcet tones, this is Glenn R.J. Willett, and this is a tribute to Meatloaf that you've recorded.
Yes.
All right, let's we'll check this out here.
I'd like to close the show tonight with At Large, Gone Global,
Ooh, echo.
Wrong
in
show.
dedication to Meatloaf for his passing at 74 years old on January 22nd, 2022, with complications of COVID-19. Well, At Large would also like to give our belated condolences to his family. We're going to sing tonight 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad. That's Meatloaf and Glenn R.J. Willett. Who would ever have known? Enjoy. This is karaoke. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Meatloaf and Glenn R.J. Willett. Enjoy. Love you, Meatloaf. Baby, we can talk all night, but that ain't getting us nowhere. I told you everything I possibly can. There's nothing left here inside of here. Maybe you can cry all night, but that'll never change the way that I feel. The snow is really piling up outside. That it is. I wish you wouldn't make me leave here. I poured it on and I poured it out. I tried to show you just how much I care. I'm tired of words and I'm too hoarse to shout. 'Cause you've been cold to me so long, I'm crying icicles instead of tears. What I can do is keep on telling you I want you, I need you, but that ain't no way I'm ever gonna love you. Now don't be sad, don't be sad, 'cause 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Now don't be sad, 'cause 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Thank you, and may you enjoy your eternal heaven.
Wow, that was something. And you know what I liked about it, Glenn? It was kind of like you and Meatloaf were sort of duetting,
Yes.
like you were singing to each other.
I do that a lot to people that have passed.
Do you sing to them?
No, I sing with them.
Oh, with them. Yes, yes.
It is their music, and that's why when I do a song that's not mine, and I really haven't written my own songs yet, so a couple, but not many. So I always tell you who the artist is, and that if they are singing in the background, I will also say that, because if you use the original music, it sounds much better.
Right, right. And if you include the original vocal too, even like you did. Yes, yes. It's like
so I did. That was my second try. It wasn't really that difficult. The one that I had a hard time with yesterday, I probably played it 40 times before I finally got it right, was Don't Stop Believing. It's slow, it's fast, up and down. But if you're going to be a singer, you have to be patient.
Right.
Practice is important.
Yes. Do you practice? Do you do your
2 hours a week? 2 hours a day. And I now use 2 boxes. Two karaoke machines. One has a little echo. That one has not. So I can change them, and they're on a stand, so I can go from one place to the next if I want the echo. And I have one in my hand. So it's I'm getting there.
Yes. Wow. Do you plan to do duets with more dead people?
I also plan on doing duets with some live people, but they're slowly coming out of the waters now that the COVID is starting to come down again.
Yes, they're coming out of the waters
this summer.
Right,
hopefully.
right. That'll be a good time to come out of the water when the weather's nice, and that very, very good.
So I just finished a show on Channel 23 with Let It Large, and it had something like 10, 12 songs on it, and it was from different artists, just to show the diversity. You have to put your mind to what you want to do, and you can succeed.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Well, very good. By the way, Maddie Calmington in the Facebook live chat said, very nice, Glenn.
Thank you, Maddie.
Very nice. Yes. Wow. Texas Mike joins us in the chat as well and says, good afternoon.
How's Texas Mike doing?
I assume he's well. Do you know Texas Mike? He's from Texas, you know.
Actually, he's lived there for a while. Did he not? Or is that just a name they gave him?
No, he's from Texas. He's a Texan.
Okay.
He's a Texan. He's been, riding bulls and milking cows. And
he must know Ted Cruz.
I'm sure he does. I'm quite sure that he does. Yes. Well, let's see. What was there was something specific that.
What was Meatloaf's most famous song? The one that put him on top.
Oh, his most. Well, his first, what was his first big hit? I assume it was Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Yeah, but it was his second album, one of the hits on the second album that really, he sold more albums because of that song. Which one was it?
On the second album?
Second album, he wrote this song, and it was so good that it just blasted. I believe it came 39 out of 100, that album.
Well, Bad Out of Hell was the first one, which was the really big one.
And the second one was?
I should know that. The second one was Dead Ringer, I believe.
Yes, and the third one, he had 3.
Well, he had quite a few albums.
The third one was The Monsters The Monsters something.
People don't realize
this guy was smart.
How many albums he? Well, The Monster is Loose. If that's what that came out in 2006.
That was the third album.
Okay, Glenn. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. You're talking about the Bad Out of Hell albums.
Yes.
Specifically because
he had 3
he had non-Bad Out of Hell albums as well.
Did. But on his second album, there's one song that he wrote and sang that really put him over the top.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. That was a massive hit.
And the video is great, isn't it?
Yes, I remember the video. I remember recording it on VHS. Absolutely. Did you see this? That I assume you've been following the Russia and Ukraine saga. Some news about this that broke actually while I was getting ready for the show today.
I hope it's good.
No, it's not.
Not surprised.
It's from thehill.com. U.S. reveals Russia may plan to create fake pretext for Ukraine invasion. Now, we already knew.
We've been talking about that for weeks now.
Yeah, but now they've got something a little more concrete. It says here, Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby told reporters today that the U.S. believes Russia may plan to create a pretext to invade Ukraine by producing propaganda videos showing aggression toward Russians. He said, quote,
I think it's the opposite.
We do have information that the Russians are likely to want to fabricate a pretext for an invasion. One option is the Russian government, we think, is planning to stage a fake attack by Ukrainian military or intelligence forces against Russian sovereign territory or against Russian-speaking people to therefore justify their action, unquote. Kirby confirmed a report first published by the Washington Post earlier today, that indicated Russia would create a fake attack by Ukraine on Russians.
I expected that.
Kirby said, quote, we believe that Russia would produce a very graphic propaganda video which would include corpses and actors that would be depicting mourners and images of destroyed locations, as well as military equipment at the hands of Ukraine or the West, even to the point where some of this equipment would be made to look like it was Western supplied to Ukraine equipment.
Do you know that even the people of Moscow do not want this war?
No, of course not.
You know, and so I really don't get it. Oh, I do get it. He's a dictator, after all, right?
I don't believe Putin really wants this war. I mean, it'll be disastrous.
It's backfiring. He really thought that after Trump was able to kind of riff the what do you call it? That organization that kept us safe since World War I and World War II. NATO, that he's going to tear them apart. And it backfired. We're all back together. And because it's important, we cannot allow another Nazi. We just can't. Another Hitler. Cannot allow that.
Right.
You just can't go in there and say, I'm going to take over your country and you're going to do this and that. And excuse me? I don't think so. So we are in the process of sending 3,000 military men along that area. It's not going to go to Ukraine, and we're still sending a lot of equipment. Now, Boris Johnson from London was there yesterday or the day before, and Germany is finally coming on board. All they were doing is sending helmets. I mean, is the gas that they're getting from Russia that really important to destroy the world?
Well, here's the problem. So Germany is in a very tough position.
Well, they put themselves there.
Well, here's the thing, though. If they shut down that Nord Stream pipeline, yes, it will be terribly damaging to Russia and the Russian economy, but it'll be like a murder-suicide.
Well, you would think that other countries would come to their aid and
yeah, but they're not going to be able to make up for what Germany is going to be Germany depends on that pipeline just as much as Russia does. Germany needs that. It's it's really just not an option for them.
So what are they going to do next? Remove all our very important bases in Germany? Our central bases are all in Germany. They've been there for generations.
Oh yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But I think
maybe Putin may ask to have it done, or else he's going to stop giving them the gas.
I think. Well, no, I mean Russia also depends economically on that pipeline.
Well, that's true.
I think there was an idea floated. At least I heard someone saying this in the media. One of these retired generals who makes the rounds on cable news was saying that maybe an off-ramp that we can offer to Putin so he can save face and make it look like he got something.
Actually, they are talking about that.
Well, maybe this general suggested some sort of a declaration, a promise publicly that NATO will never invade Russia. Now, we all know NATO isn't going to invade Russia anyway.
No.
But maybe something that Putin can bring back, take to his people and say, look what I got. I got something.
But that's not what he wants. He wants us to promise him, and NATO promise him that they will never join NATO. And the world don't work that way.
Well, yeah, but he also knows that's a non-starter. I mean, he's negotiating. You know, when you're negotiating, you start high. You start with more.
The one good thing is they're still talking. That's always good.
Yes, that is true. That is true. There's also a theory, though, that Putin might just be playing for time and dragging this out until after the Olympics.
What's new from the dictator?
After the Olympics in China. But I don't
I really think that if he's going to invade, he's going to do it before the Olympics are done.
Really?
He's almost made the decision. You have to read into what he's saying.
I don't think he'll do it, but
it surprised me.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's John C. Hopwood.
Hi, John C. Hopwood.
Hello, Glenn.
Comment ça va?
Hello, John C. Hopwood.
The C is for Soviet Union.
Really?
Because it is SSSR, which looks like a C to us.
That's true.
That will never come back.
It never left.
Well, no, but it's only Russia now. It's not the neighboring countries anymore. It's not a union.
That's like saying that's like if you're Mexico, Guatemala, or Canada. It's only the United States.
No, that's called North America if you include Canada and U.S.
Well, anyway.
The point is that Russia dominates the area. You're
He
talking
tries.
about Ukraine and NATO. The idea that you would even think of putting Ukraine into NATO, don't you understand that it's the United States and its aggression towards Russia?
I hear that.
That's creating the crisis.
Well, part of it, yes.
You don't, under Obama, try to put missiles into Poland.
I understand.
It's like Khrushchev putting missiles into Cuba.
It's all about politics.
In 1962.
But you got to realize, John, that NATO is not going to accept Ukraine for a long time. It's not easy to get into the NATO union.
NATO's overexpanded since the mid-'90s.
Well, they have, but
it should never have expanded as it has. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. I think that Poland and Hungary need to be protected. They were going to be taken over.
Sure. Oh yeah, sure. Are you willing to die for Poland?
Well, if we don't support democracies, then we're all going to be communists, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. We're all going to.
Vietnam vet, Glenn?
No, I'm not.
Over to Vietnam to
No.
defend democracy?
I have a brother that did. My oldest brother did.
And did he defend democracy?
Well, he certainly tried. He made a lot of good friends out there.
You're saying that South Vietnam, which was a military dictatorship
Yes.
and utterly corrupt, and I think, what was it, year 70, we gave them over $1 billion instead of financial aid, all of which was stolen.
Again, that was all politics
You're
in the
talking,
politics.
we were in Vietnam to defend democracy.
Well, not really.
What democracy? There was not.
Not really, and you know better than that to ask that question. It was all politics.
So you're talking about democracy. We're not.
Well, I'm talking about democracy, but Ukraine is a different story here. They're threatening to invade them.
Do you realize that Kiev, that's where the Rus was originally. That was where Russia comes from. It's like you're talking about Georgia, or I'm not talking about Soviet Georgia now either. You're talking like if the United States broke in two, and how much difference is there between these two countries?
Well, what difference would there be?
I mean, Ukraine is an artificial in many ways.
Yeah, well, what difference would it make if Texas were to decide to secede, or even New Hampshire? There's a bill in the House. That's crazy, isn't it?
Right. And do you think that the United States is going to let New Hampshire secede?
You think they're going to go to war with New Hampshire? Come on. We're a small state.
Maybe New Hampshire could secede and join NATO.
The United States wouldn't even let the Confederate states secede.
That's true. All right.
You know what the buy-in package for Poland was for NATO membership?
What was it?
$21 billion in U.S. arms.
Jeepers.
That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
A lot of American corporations made mint on that now, didn't they? Got rich.
Yeah, of course.
That's why wars are exist to begin with. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of the wars is because someone's got to make money.
Mm-hmm.
There you got it.
That's the truth.
Now we got Vietnam.
That's called reality. Vietnam was a good one.
it.
That's a good one. It lasted, and it lasted a long time for that very reason.
War is our greatest export.
So, I'm no fan of Putin, and he's a pretty miserable character.
Well, we play our fair share. All governments play their fair share. We all spy on each other, and we all do this and that, and it's nothing new. But when someone overreaches, it's a little bit too much.
He's overreaching within his sphere of influence. Look what we did. We killed 90,000 El Salvadoran peasants in the 1980s.
Hey, I'm not arguing.
The United States did that.
We're not angels here in the United States either. It's all about politics.
Some of the things Trump said, I hate to admit it, were right, and he was right on. he goes too far. He always did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, NATO's time is past. Do you know why NATO exists, Glenn R.J. Ouellette?
Well, hopefully it exists. And what happened will never happen again. That's why we've been at peace without a world war for the last many, many generations. We have to stick together. But it is at a cost. And one thing that Trump did do is he forced them to pay more of their fair share, and that's not a bad thing.
True.
They should
But
be paying their fair share.
The French foreign minister in the Fourth Republic, the Fifth Republic was created in 1958 in France, as you well know, because the military threatened a coup.
Yeah.
And it virtually was a coup and brought General de Gaulle to power.
That's right.
But in the Fourth Republic, the buy-in, the French demanded that the U.S. troops be committed in continental Europe for perpetuity if we're going to have an alliance, that an anti-Soviet alliance, so that they got killed too on the first day of any conflict, rather than in the First World War coming in 1917, which started in 1914, and the Second World War we didn't get into the fighting until 42, and it started in late 1939.
Who said, John? Who said, John, that world wars or war in particular around the world are innocent? They're not. It's dirty, very dirty, just like its politics is.
And what did France do to the United States, Glenn, and NATO? In 1966, President de Gaulle kicked us out.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
And he terminated the bases.
Yes, he did.
The United States is just, I'll shut up, but the United States is just too aggressive in expanding its influence into Eastern Europe, because it's just not economic influence, which we would expect, but, military.
Well, before you hang up, I want to mention...
that's a threat.
It is a threat. Before you hang up, I want to mention one thing, and that's Afghanistan. We were there for 20 years, and for what? For
Nothing.
What? We were nation building. We were not supposed to be doing that.
Never.
And it got us nowhere. It got us nowhere. It cost us a lot of money and a lot of lives.
Yes, it did.
It's all politics.
Glenn, they had 100,000 French foreign legionnaires at Dien Bien Phu in 1954. 100,000 of elite troops, and they were defeated. And in 1967 at Khe Sanh, the United States almost had its own version of Dien Bien Phu, except the United States just poured so much firepower into Khe Sanh. But the United States made every single error that the French made in Vietnam and lost. And the United States had far more resources than the French did. And what empire invaded Afghanistan in 1979 and were defeated?
Wasn't that Russia?
That's right.
The Soviet Union.
Yes.
So I'm just saying it's a little more complex. He's not going to invade. He's got his little fake republics there on the border. What he wants to do is just force the hand of Ukraine and bring them to heel.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, but interesting conversation.
It
guys.
is. It
Bye.
is.
All right, John. Thank you for the call.
The only thing that upsets me, Matt, is that he keeps calling it the Soviet Union. I will not give Russia that honor anymore. Those days are gone.
Well, that's what Putin is so wistful for.
Well, of course.
Yes.
You remember
yes.
he was part of that. He was with the KKK.
That's right. Not the KKK.
No, I'm sorry. That's in America.
KGB.
The KGB.
Yeah, it took me a second to process that you had said the wrong thing. I was like, yeah, that's right. Oh, wait, no.
I meant the KGB.
By the way, I want to end on something fun. Jenny sent me this. This is from HuffPost. Some QAnon believers think JFK disguised himself as Trump at the Arizona rally.
Really?
They claim the person who showed up at the event appeared to be shorter than the real Donald Trump, because we don't shrink as we get older or anything. It says here, apparently there is no conspiracy theory too wild for some QAnon followers. Case in point, members of a QAnon group based in Dallas have floated the theory that John F. Kennedy is not only alive, but disguised himself as former President Donald Trump over the weekend to attend a rally in Florence, Arizona.
What is that about lately that the Trump people are expecting John F. Kennedy to come back from the grave? And wow, what's all that about?
Oh, yes, he's coming back from the grave. Oh,
How
yes.
ridiculous is that?
Well, yeah, it does seem a bit far-fetched, yes. Well, they're optimists. As evidence, the group's leader, Michael Protzman, claims Trump appeared to be shorter than he should have been, Vice News reported.
He shrunk.
You could tell it wasn't Trump, Protzman said in a live chat. Referring to a moment where the former president invited Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake to the stage. However, Ron Watkins, who many people believe started the QAnon movement, claimed there was no body double at the rally, just Trump. So he's the reasonable one, apparently.
I see.
Kennedy wasn't the only dead celebrity supposedly supporting Trump's baseless claims of election fraud in Arizona, as one of Protzman's followers also claimed he saw Tupac Shakur and Kobe Bryant. QAnon has claimed a connection to Kennedy before, previously suggesting that he and his son, John F. Kennedy Jr., would somehow rise from the dead to help Trump reclaim the presidency.
Oh, that's far-fetched.
I think it's very exciting, but
they're not living in reality.
Well, the thing is, though, too, I mean, the Kennedys, very handsome men, and I have a feeling that they don't quite look the same now. So
I would think not.
John Hopwood points out in the chat that JFK would be 104 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You don't look good at that age.
Probably not. No. Jenny says apparently he will also come back as a Republican, according to the theory.
Well, nothing. That's possible but it's not going to happen. But I'll tell you, if Reagan today was running for president again, he'd have to be a Democrat.
He would. No, I disagree. He
wouldn't
adapt.
win as a Republican.
I would say that about Nixon. A
lot of Republicans don't like Reagan anymore.
Well, I know. Yeah, well, because Trump came along and they forgot all about Reagan. Hopwood also says in the chat, John C. Hopwood, referring to JFK, his Addison's disease would have killed him by the end of his second term if he hadn't been murdered in 1963.
That's probably true. He was really in bad shape.
And Rocky Huber points out, isn't he missing his brain? Because he was shot in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. But apparently that doesn't matter to Q. He's going to rise from the dead.
To Q, he's probably a zombie?
Oh, yes, he's a zombie. All right. Anyway, we're going to begin to wrap up because coming up next, right here at WMNH 95.3, is the Weekly Die-On, and it's a very special Weekly Die-On this week. I don't know if it's okay to spill the beans or not. Ben Dion is here, and there's Daryl Dion.
You don't have to spill the beans. You just walked in.
Well, I was wondering. I didn't want to say anything. And Daryl, I heard you had a little bit of a fall. A little bit. Yeah.
He's doing well, looks like.
Are you guys making a big announcement tonight? Should I not? What's that? Oh, okay. It's okay to say it.
Oh, I thought it was just for a while.
Okay, so the last Weekly Die-On is Ben said it's okay to say it is coming up tonight.
It'll be missed
at 6 p.m. Yes,
a great show.
We could return, but
you could return. Go.
Yes.
Bands do that all the time, right, Dale?
Well, keep that. Yeah, you want to keep that option open, obviously.
Bands do that all the time.
That's
Absolutely.
right. They do their retirement tours and then they do the reunion tours. So,
that's right.
So it could happen. What happened, Daryl? Did you fall on some ice, or?
Exactly.
I hear you were cleaning the ice.
Yeah. Ben, I can't get these on.
Well, we gotta wrap up in a second. Well, yeah, we got a couple quick minutes, and then I want to wrap up to make room for you guys. But and I got to go jump on a call because the first Thursday of every month I call into the Dr. Kevin Show on the Own Times Radio Network.
Oh, what time do you call in?
6 to 7. Yeah, I just go upstairs and do it from there. But yeah, so this is it for a while tonight.
Yeah, and the accident was it was pretty funny. I decided that I was at a hotel for a week because they were redoing my bathroom because I had issues.
Yeah.
And they had to retile it, so I couldn't be home.
Yeah.
I got home on a Thursday, and my driveway was a mess. and all that snow and rain had fallen and frozen.
Yeah.
And I had no way to clean it. So I decided that Saturday, which was very sunny out, it was cold but sunny.
Yeah.
I bought 100 pounds of rock ice and just distributed it amongst. And I was making some progress. Then I got behind my vehicle and boom.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't break a hip. It's not.
Well, I fractured it.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
that sucks.
But that's coming along well, and the elbow is fine. It's shattered. It's broken, but I'm making progress. Very little pain factor. I can take it.
If you have a good spirit and you're strong, you're a good healer.
Absolutely.
Rocky Huber in the chat says, I think Daryl got down and dirty with Easy G, and he's telling people he slipped on some ice.
You should see Easy G.
Want to get down and dirty with me?
I love that.
Want to get down and dirty with me?
All right. Well, now do you
Wow.
guys have any guests coming on for your final show? Or
Yeah, John. I believe John Clayton will be joining us.
Perfect.
John was a key factor in Ben getting the radio show.
And your first guest, am I correct? Was he your first guest, Ben? Was he your first guest?
Technically, he was our second guest. But that was like our first more organized show, you could say.
Are we going to hear a little more history of the city with Clayton today?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about the events coming up, and yeah.
That's always fascinating.
That's
always.
Manchester Moments. That's the segment. You got to wait for that one.
What always amazes me is his ability to retain all that information in his brain.
He's lived it.
No doubt about it. And it's in his soul.
Yes.
So when anything is that deep, you don't lose it. Because I have memories of my past that I'll never forget because it's embedded.
That's right.
For John, it's been a whole life, a lifetime of him, just encompassing all this history in his whole body and soul.
now, a quick question. So, is this this is the end? Obviously, you're just too busy. You got a lot going on, right?
It's a lot of reasons, and I think the biggest one is just I don't have the time to put into the show.
Yeah.
To get guests, to add new things to the show like I've wanted to.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been consistent enough. I mean, we'd have one show and then we'd beat off 2 weeks because of meetings, and I just clearly didn't have enough time. So I didn't want to keep doing that because I felt like it wasn't fair to the listeners and to myself, just because the show is meant to be weekly. It's meant to have a specific guest and talk about the event and what's going on. And I just haven't been able to do that. So I thought it was the right time to kind of take a break. Doesn't mean that, I won't be back. And I've talked to Jason and the station. They're perfectly fine with me coming back at a later date.
Yeah.
As great as your show was, it's honorable that you're taking your office seriously. We need more people like that. If we're going to fix our problems in the city, we need people that will do the job and get the right thing done.
Well, it's
so congratulations.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. And I really thought to myself, too, how do other people do other things besides their job and then being an alderman or school board member or mayor? Or I don't see how you can. It's a lot. And having a family, too. That was the other thing, too, is not having enough time for
of course,
for the family to hang out. And
he's got a new job.
Yeah.
A new son. Lincoln's.
If you listen to the alderman board and the school board, how many times do they ask the mayor, where did this come from? I didn't get that. It's in your
You have
package.
to read it all. Yeah.
They don't come prepared.
Yep.
And then they're the very ones who are going to complain, saying, I didn't see that. Well, you didn't read it.
Exactly.
That's the thing I think people don't realize. It's a lot of reading because we'll get agendas that are hundreds of pages.
Well, then you're not full-time employees, so you have to catch up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we get that the Thursday before the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start to wrap up because, of course, you guys are coming up next at 6 p.m. and have a great final show.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
Final for now here at WMNH.
I got to tell you, it's been a fabulous 4 years, man.
Yeah. Wow. It's been that long?
I've had a ball.
Damn.
I've had a ball.
Wow.
God willing, you'll come back.
Absolutely.
The funny part about this, the exit, is Ben was reluctant to tell me because he was, he didn't know how I would react.
Yeah.
I says, Ben, this is your show.
Yeah.
I'm just comic relief.
You don't want to take over, Ben?
No,
Daryl?
No. Apparently, people think I do, but I'm not.
All right. Very good. All right, guys. Well, the Weekly Dial is coming up next at 6 p.m. Make sure you tune in for that. Thank you so much, guys. Glenn, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you to everyone who called today, everybody in the chat room. If you missed any part of today's show, it'll be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnarton.com. And I am off to go call in to the Dr. Kevin show And I'll be back tomorrow. Weather be damned. I guess it's supposed to be kind of nasty, but I'm sure I won't have any problem getting here. It's not like I live far, far away.
You could always walk here.
That's true. I did.
Slowly, there'll be a lot of ice.
I did walk here once. It only took me about 20 minutes from where I live, so it's not too bad. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
Au revoir.